Hi, everybody. This is Michelle Bruckner with the Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast. I am going to be talking to a good friend of mine. Her name is Rosie Hunter, and we first worked together many years ago at Maine State Music Theater. She's been married a long time. She has 2 kids. She currently lives in Chicago, and she's a military spouse. We've got so much to talk about, but the reason, hey girl, so I wanted to have you on because I'm doing a series about performers who use their other interests, talents, and skills to make money. So you have a business as a makeup artist.
Indeed.
And you're very good at it. And even if you did nothing else, that is primo. But you're an actor and you do your makeup artistry to support your family, but also because it's a way for you to make money.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has a multitude of talents and we should use what we do best to support ourselves. Why not? Why not use what we got?
Yes, 100%. I totally agree. I'm so grateful that I have this like super portable skill that I'm doing really well with. And like, if I get auditions, it's great, but it's like, I'm not like relying on it to feed my family, which is at 37, a stress that I don't want, you know? So I'm grateful.
You're 37. We met when you were just a baby. Isn't that funny?
Oh my gosh. I was 19, Michelle. Insane.
I love it. I love it. And we're still friends, but
Yes.
You say portable. And this is important because you're a military spouse. Tell us where you've been so far in your husband's military career, which includes your family, which is something that I want to bring up because when people are in the military, it doesn't just affect them. They are representing our country, protecting our country, but there's their families that often have to go with them, or in your case, well, I'll let you explain it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So being a military spouse, you have to constantly uproot your family and you're also constantly uprooting your career. Having this skill set is really been valuable to me because it's allowed me to still be creative, but support my family. So when my husband auditioned and won the job in the military as a tuba player, we moved to Virginia for a little over a year. And at that point, I actually started auditioning in the Virginia theater scene, was getting callbacks and things were going great. I was actually in contact with people back in Boston trying to potentially travel to go back and do theater. And I was a beauty stylist at Nordstrom, working a few days a week, which was super fun. Started building my freelance clientele, but then we found out we were moving to Japan. And I was like, what am I going to do? We got to Japan and I was like, well, I'm not just going to sit here. And I started Rosie Hunter Makeup Artistry at the time, only offering makeup services, but in greater Japan, as well as on the military base. And then I sort of fell into another military spouse who's was a musician. She was moving and she had been teaching musical theater to expat children in downtown Tokyo and asked me if I wanted to take over music directing. I have goosies thinking about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course I want to be teaching musical theater in Japan. What is this like? So I was teaching at Tokyo International Players, their youth program. I music directed Hairspray Junior and Mulan Junior. And my daughter Stella got to come with me to Tokyo to rehearsals when she was 4 and 5 years old. And she just performed as young Elsa in her first like musical theater performance. You never know sort of where things are going to take you. And my makeup business was doing very well there as well. And I got to perform with the band as well on the military base for their Christmas concert. I got to do some musical theater, which was great. So constantly trying to make opportunities for myself. I feel like it's so important that not only you're advocating for your children, for your husband, for your family, but as a performer, I knew I was still marketable and I still had something to give. And so I wanted to create those opportunities for myself. So when we found out we're moving to Chicago, another military spouse, a wonderful community, put me in touch with a bridal agency and they looked at my portfolio and hired me, and huge opportunity. And I became a lead hair and makeup artist on this award-winning bridal team in downtown Chicago. Had my work featured in multiple magazine publications for bridal in Chicago. And then last year, I guess in 2020, like I became a formal S corporation. And last year was my last year with this agency. And now I have my own business and I freelance with several different organizations, but primarily like I'm booking weddings on my own and doing my own thing. And I have an agent now in Chicago last week I just submitted 2 self-tapes to Chicago One shows for co-star lead roles. So it's like, I had no idea where life would take me, but I feel like I've been given these opportunities and constantly putting myself out into the universe. My voice teacher, Ellen Chickering, who died during 2020, she was like, Rosie, just put yourself out into the universe and see what comes back. Because if you don't try, nothing will happen. And so my trajectory has not been college performing, which it was, and then just performing nonstop. I had a family, and it was something that I always wanted above anything else. And now that I'm sort of circling back to this other first love is pretty remarkable. And that my children get to see me not only persevering and having my own business, but also not giving up on those initial dreams and knowing that it's okay at any point in your life to make time for yourself, to be a champion for yourself, and to continue to pursue things that have meaning to you in many facets of your life.
Absolutely. And one thing that I really commend you on is a lot of moms get lost in the mothering and completely lost in their children. And as a mother whose children are out of the nest now, I have to say that I'm very glad I always kept a piece of myself for myself. You're doing the same thing, because mothering is an all-consuming job. It is a wonderful job. But at the end of the day, if we do our jobs right, the kids go off. And I know a lot of moms who just are like, what do I do now? And I experience that sadness too. Like, I miss everything we used to do. I miss them being little. I just, some of the teenage years I'm glad are past me, but I do, I miss them as people. And of course, we spend time together. We talk on the phone, we FaceTime, but they're in their periods of life where they are really establishing their own identities. And I respect that also. I don't want to be a smothering mother who's like, I need you. No, they're fine. But what's really helpful with us and our acting craft and our hobbies and our passions is that we can turn to those, and now we have a little time. Like right now, I know you're so busy, and I know you're also going to jump off this call in a minute because you have to do something with your children, but there will come a time when you have a little bit more time and space. And that is, it's a blessing. And it's also like, you wish you could just always be making cookies with the kids and doing things.
For sure. No, it is. It's definitely having that piece of myself is so important, because yes, we call it the kid shuffle right now, because my husband is stationed in Rhode Island. He comes home every 4 to 6 weeks if we're lucky. So my mother lives with us, but I'm definitely solo parenting a lot right now. So while I'm working, managing my own business, but taking my children everywhere. And these are such formative, special years. And I savor every moment with them, but I am grateful that I have things that are my own that I can, like you said, rely on, and that give me additional focus and drive that I feel make me a better mother, a better partner, when I'm taking time for myself and taking care of myself, and making myself a priority as well. It wasn't always that way. It took a lot of work to allow myself to do that. But I really think it helps in every part of my life. And all these doors have opened by the universe. So I feel like the universe has said, yes, you are, doing the right things. You are, being the mom, you're being the wife, but you are also being just Rosie. And that's what you should be doing.
I think I would love for you to tell the listeners where they can reach you, because one thing I'm going to hire you to do is a makeup consult for me. I need to overhaul my beauty products and my makeup, and I'm going to ask you to do that. And also, when I have my coaching business, which is launching in September, I'm going to ask you to, with the members of that community, help each one design their own makeup palette.
I love it.
So if someone is in the Chicago area, how do they contact you to do their makeup for a special occasion or even photographs?
Absolutely. So my website, which is rosiehunterartistry.com, is an excellent resource, and you can contact me directly through there, or my email is hello@rosiehunterartistry.com. And then all of my contact information is there. And then you can also find me on Instagram, again, at Rosie Hunter Artistry, all very streamlined. But I tend to book 4 to 6 weeks out. And Saturdays I book 8 to 10 months out. So it's pretty crazy. I do a lot of bridal. I'm taking a limited workload right now. So Saturdays are quite heavy. But I do, if I can ever accommodate a last minute appointment, I always do. And I love helping people feel empowered through beauty. I think people can get overwhelmed with a barrage of information in social media, Instagram, Pinterest, seeing these different looks, tutorials on YouTube. And oftentimes the women doing them might not look anything like you or only be, 20 years old. And I love a 20-year-old, but I am 37 and I want to know how to enhance my features at this age with different concerns that I'm having. So I pride myself on being able to help people, whether you're having a first makeup lesson and you're 13, or whether you're a woman in her 60s, 70s wanting to feel refreshed and fabulous. I'm able to help guide people to the correct products to make sure that they're feeling gorgeous, empowered, and authentically themselves, which I think is so important. And the right products can help you feel that way.
That's amazing. And you know what? I remember back in the day, this was your passion back then. And look at you now, you've turned this into a business and this helps you and your family. It's wonderful.
Amazing. My business has grown dramatically, and it's at the point where I make a full-time income working part-time, and it's truly incredible. I feel so blessed. I know I've done a lot of hard work, but I've had a lot of great opportunities and just sort of, again, like put myself out there. But yes, I remember at Main State, I had my mom got me this gorgeous Sephora. It looked like a tackle box of beauty. And I have this picture of us looking in the makeup box, and I had all my Ben Nye, bless my heart, and MAC and just all of the things. And I remember sitting next to you with your Russian red lipstick and being like, I want to be like Michelle Bruckner. And I remember one time you couldn't find your Russian red before you were going on stage. You're like, where is my Russian red? And you found it. And then all was right with the universe. I still have Russian red in my kit, and it is my favorite red lipstick of all time. Yeah.
It really served me for so many years. I have to say, I love that Russian red. My daughter is really great at makeup, and she loves all the things. I just think it's another facet of art. It's another facet of creating. Yes. You can totally change your look. You can totally change how people perceive you. And I've got to tell you, when I'm out in public looking no makeup, I get treated very differently than when I'm full beat and hair. It's interesting. It's just interesting how other people see you.
Yes, I absolutely, see that as well. And I'll have days when I'm feeling super fierce and I'll do the whole thing. And then I have plenty of days where I leave the house without makeup and also don't care. But it's it is very interesting how the attention, the perception, and sort of, people are visual creatures. So when they see something, how also what you give off. So when I have my beat done and my hair done, I know that I'm rocking that confidence, even if I I might not be feeling if I'm bloated or whatever, but if I got my lipstick on and my hair done, it's yes, I am still fabulous. So it's true. I think that the beauty industry can be really empowering and wonderful when you know how to navigate it for you and can sort of tune out the comparison bits and really finding what helps you make you feel the best version of yourself. Even if that means electric blue eyeliner on the daily, you should do that. I'm not a trendy person. I think people should feel fabulous in whatever way it means, to them. So
what are some of your all-time favorite products besides Russian red? If you had to pick a go-to, what's a go-to blush for you?
Orgasm from NARS. It's that perfect peachy pink. Also love Deep Throat from NARS. These names, my goodness, both universally gorgeous colors. I love for mascara, Chanel Le Volume is stunning. It gives such beautiful separation, definition. It doesn't ever fall under your eyes. Even if I go running, it's fantastic. And then as far as concealer goes, it's sort of a cult product at this point, but Tarte Shape Tape is wonderful for everyone, all ages. And if you dilute it with a little bit of moisturizer, if you're a little bit more dehydrated, it's very, very forgiving and versatile. Touche Cloth from YSL has arnica built into it. So it's great for depuffing. And I love that for a daily fresh look. Especially for under the eyes. It helps to sort of flush out excess lymphatic fluid. It's fantastic. trying to think. Oh, Benefit. Yeah. Benefit Professional for primer. It's super smoothing, super under tinted moisturizer or airbrush or any other kind of foundation. And then for a bronzer, I love the Chanel Soleil bronzer. It's like a cream bronzer in a disc and it is gorgeous. So those are some major hero products. Ilia.
Thank you.
Serum tinted moisturizer. Love that too. And it's a clean beauty product.
Do you ever look at the dupes? Like on Pinterest, I look at these lists and they'll give you like a drugstore dupe of a fancy product. Did you ever try any of those dupes?
I've tried a few of them. Some of the Maybelline products I feel like are actually really, really gorgeous. And drugstore makeup is not the drugstore makeup of like 1985. Like if you go to like Walgreens now and like walk down the aisle, it is not super cheap. And the formulations have come a long way. And there are like within like even CoverGirl, they have clean options now. So they're really eliminating parabens, petrochemicals, lots of synthetic fragrances. So even the drugstore brands, you can create a beautiful artistry look with those products. Things that I still recommend that clients sort of go for if they're going to like splurge on a makeup product is your foundation or tinted moisturizer because it's going all over your face. And then something like an eyeshadow primer, even if you're using a less high-end eyeshadow palette, if you have a great shadow primer underneath, it's going to make those pigments pick up much better and stay on. Something like Pod or Urban Decay Primer Potion, something like that.
Nice. Well, thank you. I know you're super busy. Thank you for your time today. I will talk to you super soon, girlfriend. We got to have another podcast episode about military spouse. I want to hear more about Japan. Because while you were there, because a lot of our listeners are just starting. Yeah. A lot of our listeners are just starting their careers. And I remember being terribly homesick when I first started. So I want to discuss that.
Absolutely.
But thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
I hope everyone enjoyed that interview with Rosie Hunter. Rosie's going to be part of Club Showgirl, helping us put our best face forward, doing makeup design, consultations. Club Showgirl is where it's at. If you need some coaching with getting yourself packaged and all the fun things that we do as entertainers to put our best foot forward, to make ourselves shine in the brightest and most positive light possible, head on over to www.michellebruckner.com. Join my mailing list. Then you'll be in the inside scoop for everything that's happening. If you want to be part of Club Showgirl, we welcome you with open arms. We are having fun this year. We're having fun this year. 2022, we are rebuilding from the pandemic. We're coming back strong. We're singing, we're dancing, we're acting, we're teaching, we're choreographing, and most of all, living life to the fullest. Each day is a precious gift. Next week, we're going to have another episode. It's spooky season. So let's talk about Halloween. Let's talk about having fun decorating for fall, getting into fall activities. As you know, I'll be at the Vault in Winthrop, selling all of the good vintage Winthrop, Maine. Follow Freckle Salvage Company on Instagram. There's a new Instagram for my fashion at Showgirl's Closet. I love you. See you next time. The Showgirl Tip of the Day podcast has original music composed by Joshua Holloway. Find him on YouTube, Joshua Holloway Music. This podcast is written by Michelle Bruckner and edited by Michelle Bruckner and Joshua Holloway. Find me on Instagram, Showgirl Tip of Day. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week with a new episode.